knots, becoming northeast late. Seas 1 foot or less. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Wednesday, north winds around 5 knots. Seas 1 foot or less. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Wednesday night, northwest winds 5 to 10 knots. Seas 1 foot or less. Scattered thunderstorms. Scattered showers in the evening, then numerous showers after midnight. Thursday, northwest winds around 5 knots, becoming southwest in the afternoon. Seas 1 foot or less. Scattered thunderstorms. Widespread showers. Thursday night, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming south after midnight. Seas 1 foot or less. Widespread showers and scattered thunderstorms. Friday, south winds 10 to 15 knots. Seas 1 foot or less, then around 2 feet in the afternoon. Widespread showers and scattered thunderstorms. Friday night, south winds 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Widespread showers and scattered thunderstorms. Saturday, south winds 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Widespread showers and scattered thunderstorms. Saturday night, southeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Scattered thunderstorms. Scattered showers in the evening, then numerous showers after midnight. Sunday, southeast winds around 10 knots, becoming southwest in the afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Numerous showers and scattered thunderstorms. Winds and seas higher and their thunderstorms. Your coastal waters forecast for the following marine location. Coastal waters from Tarpon Springs to Swanee River out 20 nautical.
Alrighty, my friends, what is going on, everybody? And welcome back to another zip code forecast, my friends. We'll be talking about the tropics as well, as we do have some new information out there for you guys. Just a little bit of a early heads up. Earl, the storm we were watching here in the Atlantic, that's supposed to have some impacts on Bermuda down the line, is now officially a hurricane. Just became a hurricane just a few, or actually I wouldn't say really a few minutes ago, within the hour, just in the last hour. So this system is now a Category 1 hurricane. Now the storm we're looking at right now on the top right hand side, that is K. That is Hurricane K that is ongoing in the Eastern Pacific, and a lot of impacts will follow with the system as well. We're going to need to do some coverage on this system as it does make its approach. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. First of all, let's go ahead and see here. Let's go ahead and see who is here. Let's go and see. Berlinda is here. Let's see. Let's hope you're doing all right. Hi, Pilot, Storm Geek, Stormy, Angel Flies. Let's see. Berlinda is here again. Let's see here. Alex, Moon here as well. Once again, Angel Flies. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing all right here for today. Hope you guys are doing all right. So let's just go ahead and jump on into it, my friends. We have ourselves a little bit of stuff we do need to update you guys on. Like I was talking about, look how massive. First of all, I want to go ahead and show you guys something. I mean, this system that we're looking at is huge. Absolutely enormous. I mean, look at this system. So here is, if we go over here to the eastern portion, or towards the Atlantic, this system right here, this is now Hurricane Earl. Like I said, right now, it has now officially become a hurricane, and which is expected to become a major hurricane just as it's right here scraping by the side of Bermuda. It's going to be at its strongest whenever it does go by portions of Bermuda. Let's go ahead and turn on the official forecast and the overall track and stuff like that. That way we can get some of these things going here. If it wants to even work here, sometimes it does, sometimes it wasn't, or sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, so we got to really watch out for it. But look how absolutely large, first of all, how large this system is here in the Eastern Pacific. Once again, this right here is Hurricane K at this point, and I believe we're getting up there near Category 2 strength. We're getting close to it. It is expected to possibly be a Category 2 here by tomorrow, and this thing is going to cause some issues down the line. We have some hurricane watches in effect here, tropical storm warnings. We'll get to more of that here in a moment. We're glad to have you guys here for today. Let's see, Yankees here as well. What's up? Hope you're doing all right. Self-Care is here as well. Glad to have you here, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us, guys, today. And, yeah, let's go ahead and get on into it. I already see some zip codes coming out here. Okay, we'll get to those here in a minute. But, yeah, so that's kind of what we are talking about. So we're going to talk more about the tropics here towards the end of this live stream here. I mean, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm planning on having a pretty decent-sized live stream today. Just on the tropics, on the overall weather across the country, personal forecasts and stuff like that. So if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button, guys. It'll be greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for joining us today. And all right, let's go ahead and get on into it. So first off, we see Moon here is wanting me to look at 75965. I got you covered here, my friend. Let's go ahead, and I have to look these up because obviously I don't know every single zip code right off the top of my head. So we're going to have to look this up really quickly. So you want me to look here at 75965. So 75965. This is right here across portions of Texas, Nacogdoches, Texas, here on the eastern side. Got you covered here, my friend. So moving on over here, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and turn off the satellite view, and we're going to turn on the overall radar view across the nation here. So here is what is going on while this is loading. So Nacogdoches is over here on the eastern side of Texas. Now, in regard to your overall severe weather outlook, this is what we usually do for forecasts for you guys. First thing we look at is our thunderstorm potential for today. Now, obviously, we do have a thunderstorm threat here for today. We are seeing a bit of pop-up shower and thunderstorm activity ongoing across the Nacogdoches area, although no severe storms is expected for today, looking relatively fine for the most part. Now, here for tomorrow, kind of the same thing. A few showers and storms can indeed be a possibility. And as we move into day 3, which, like I said, obviously today is, let's see, let me make sure. Yeah, today is Tuesday, so tomorrow will be Wednesday. Thunderstorms possible. But Thursday, most of the storms will probably just be to your south, looking relatively clear here for the most part. So then when we take a look at the future radar for your location, this is another thing we typically do for you guys here in our personal forecast. So we're going to go ahead and switch on over here. The time will be in the bottom left-hand corner if you want to follow along. We're going off of the NAM model, by the way. Like I said, don't take this to be approximate. Just get an idea based off of what this has to say, okay? Anyway, so as we truck way down in time here, obviously a few storms can be possible. As we move as we move into tomorrow, you can actually see our same thing. A few thunderstorms along the eastern side. Like I was saying, though, none of these are supposed to be severe. They're not expected to be severe at all. Anyway, so as we track away even further down in time, just kind of on and off that, shower and thunderstorm activity is going to be possible. I mean, other than that, guys, I mean, it's relatively fine for the most part. Now, an idea on your temperatures here. Obviously, for tonight, we're seeing those temperatures really drop into the mid-70s. Tomorrow, getting up into portions of the lower 80s into the mid-80s. For tomorrow night, dropping back down into the mid-70s, maybe even the lower 70s being possible, according to this model. And obviously, it kind of looks like as we move into, let's see, this will be Thursday. It looks like as we move into Thursday, the temperatures actually might be dropping down a bit, which might be definitely some good news there. So, but that's kind of what we are looking at. Let's go ahead and see. So that is for you, my friend. Let's see. We have ourselves our next one here. This is for Alex and Ben. Now, if we skip over your guys, zip code, we're just trying to keep up with the chat here. So I might skip over if I don't get to it. Don't spam it, but repost it here after a while. If I'm well past your comment. Okay. So that's what I'm just gonna go ahead and say right off the bat. So Alex wants me to look at 63. Let's see here. So we'll look here at 63119. So this is right here across portions of Missouri. This is in Webster's, Missouri. Actually, this is St. Louis, by the way. Okay, so moving on back here to the main models, my friends. We're taking a look here back at the main, or back at our, I should say, not really the main models, the main screen, I should say. So for today, no severe storms is expected. No general thunderstorms is expected either. That's kind of the same thing for the next 3 days, looking relatively fine for the most part in regard to thunderstorm activity. You're looking relatively fine. With you on the specific future cast in regard to the models, I mean, honestly, it does show a few showers being possible for the next, 2 or 3 days or so. But honestly, it does not appear that early storms are going to be a really concern. Maybe just a few showers could be possible over the next 3 days. Other than that, looking relatively fine for the most part. When it comes to the overall temperature outlook, like I said, this is not perfect. We're looking at one model here. Obviously, for tonight, temperatures are getting a little bit chilly here into the upper 60s, lower 70s being possible. And honestly, to me, that's pretty nice, actually. Tomorrow's max high getting up into the mid-70s, definitely kind of a cool day. And tomorrow night, dropping down into the upper 60s for a change. Definitely is a little bit chilly there. And then obviously, that is kind of what we're dealing with. So there you go, Alex. Hopefully that helped you out there, my friend. And let's go and see who's next. We have ourselves Stormy here wanting me to look at 34479. Got you covered here, my friend. So let's go and take a look here at 34479. 34479. This is right here across portions of Florida. Let's go see Ocala. I think that's how you pronounce that, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it's Ocala, Florida. So this is right down here into the south. Let's go and switch on over to our main screen here. So Ocala, Florida is somewhere around there. There you go, right now. Now you can obviously tell, according to the radar view, it did look like a little bit ago we were seeing a lot of pop-up shower and thunderstorm action that has been going on today. that's currently happening. So obviously for the rest of the day, it looks like that thunderstorm activity is expected to diminish for the most part, looking relatively fine. Now when it comes to tomorrow, on the other hand, when it does come to tomorrow, obviously more storms could be possible. I mean, when isn't this typical in Florida? I mean, Florida always gets thunderstorms regardless. So yeah, really for the next 3 days, I mean, on and off storms. We're not even going to bother looking at the future radar because, obviously we are going to expect some thunderstorms to occur for you. Anyway, so in regard to the temperatures though, if we take a look here down towards the Florida area, definitely quite hot here. Obviously today got into the 90s, dropping down into I'd say the upper 70s here for tonight. Obviously, high humidity is probably going to be a factor as well. Tomorrow, looking up into the upper 80s, lower 90s being a possibility. Tomorrow night, dropping back down into the mid to upper 70s is what it looks like. And then the day after tomorrow for Thursday, it does appear that we are going to be seeing ourselves those temperatures back in the lower 90s return. So that's kind of what we are talking about in regard to you, my friend. Hopefully that helped you out. Let me go ahead and see here. I'm going to go ahead and switch on down. Oh my gosh, I have a lot of comments to go through. Okay, here we go. So here we got ourselves, Berlinda wants me to look at 34741. I got you covered here, my friend. So let's go ahead and take a look at 34741. 34741. This is right here across portions of Florida. This is right here just south of Orlando. Pretty much right there. So Berlinda, for you, my friend, kind of the same thing to follow. I mean, we have been seeing ourselves, we are actually seeing ourselves, a lot of thunderstorm and shower action that's been ongoing for the last little bit. As you can see right now in the latest scans, there is a little bit of, shower and thunderstorm activity starting to diminish here for the most part. Really over the next 3 days, just like we were looking there in Ocala, or how you pronounce that area, pretty much the same thing for a lot of Florida, honestly. So on and off shower and thunderstorm activity, really nothing much of a difference for typical Florida. I just realized I did not switch my screen here. Yeah, there we go. So there's actually a better view on it. But you can obviously tell here, like I said, obviously towards the Orlando region, yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of shower and storm activity starting to really diminish here for the most part in regard to things. So things are looking a little bit better. Those storm actions starting to die out here, like I was saying, for the next several days here for tomorrow. There's a thunderstorm risk, but none of them are severe. There is no severe thunderstorm risk. Nothing you got to worry about in regard to damaging storms here over the next 3 days. So we are looking relatively fine in regard to that. Now back with the models for you. We just looked at kind of the same area. So once again, expect the high temperatures to be around, the lower 90s during the daytimes and getting down into maybe the mid to upper 70s at nighttime for the next 3 days. That's kind of what we are talking about here as an overall standpoint. But anyway, so that's what's going on down there. Hopefully that helped you out. And all right. Let's go ahead and see here. Megan says, I'm a TV star. Well, thank you so much there, Megan. Let's see here. Moon says, awesome, thanks. You're very, very welcome. Got you guys covered. Megan wants me to look and see what is going on in her area. So let's go ahead and move on over here to the... I remember where you're specifically at. So let's go ahead and move over here towards the Utah area. I forgot. St. George, Utah. So kind of the same thing. Obviously, right now, we are seeing a little bit of stormage really start to kind of, dissipate, kind of just move its way out of the region here for the most part in regard to things. Now, when it does come to tomorrow, kind of the same thing being possible here the day after tomorrow, obviously this being Thursday, you're kind of right there on that line between seeing maybe a little bit of thunderstorm action, but, honestly, for the most part, like I said, far away from anything severe, not expecting to see anything too crazy happen there. Anyway, so that is kind of what we are watching here in regard to what is currently happening. Now, if we move over here towards the future radar for you, my friend, if we go ahead and switch down here to the southwest, let's see here. Proxy, with a $50 donation, thank you so much, man. You did not have to do that. Let's see here. So sorry to be late. Don't worry about it, but so happy to be here. Well, glad to have you here, my friend. Thank you so much there, Proxy. Yeah, huge shout out goes to Proxy. Dude, this man is a legend. Always been supporting the channel. Really, thank you so much, Proxy. Huge shout out. Everyone, thank Proxy for helping out the channel. He definitely, we definitely owe him a big thanks. So everyone in the chat right now, say thank you, Proxy, for helping out the channel. If it was not for him, obviously it would be, a lot. It would be kind of hard to be able to do what we do here. So once again, thank you so much there, Proxy. Big shout out goes to you. So, moving on down here to the southwest here, like I was talking about in regard to the models specifically for you. We are currently watching this here as of now. If we take a look here, it's kind of hard to tell because of that big pressure differential between, the portions of the mountain ranges. But anyways, regardless though, just take what we had to say. Obviously a few on and off shower and thunderstorm activity can indeed be a possibility here, over the next 3 days or so. In regard to your temperatures, now here's the thing. With the temperatures, it can definitely vary because even over a short elevational difference, those temperatures are really going to be fluctuating a lot. But I can tell you now, I mean, they are expected to be quite hot here. I mean, getting down into possibly the 70s, 80s here for tonight. Tomorrow getting back up into the 90s, near 100 possibly. Tomorrow night looking down into the, actually kind of diving back down into the 70s, 80s again. Actually probably mid to upper 70s is pretty much a good guess there. But anyway, so you can obviously see how hot it gets in California though. I mean, look at this. Temperatures getting down, or getting, I shouldn't say down, I should say getting up into like the 114 range, which that is absolutely smoldering hot. That is really, really crazy. A lot of it's dry heat, though. You know, there's not really much humidity factor. I mean, these areas here rarely get rain. They're very, very dry locations right now. But like I was saying, though, I mean, these in particular areas are getting very, very, very hot here. Like I said, obviously up into that 110. I mean, honestly, near 115 is kind of what this model does project here, which is absolutely too hot. You know, you don't want to be outside in this. You need to be inside in air conditioning. That's way, way, way too hot there. But anyways, so yeah, let's go ahead and move on down here. Let's go ahead and see. We're going to go ahead and move down a little bit. So if I know I'm skipping over a few. I'm not going to try to. I'm going to go ahead and start from under Proxy's donation. Once again, big thank you, Proxy. Thank you so much here. Let's go and see that. Storm Geek wants me to look at 13421. This is right here in New York. Got you covered here, my friend. So let's go ahead and see here. So that Storm Geek wants me to look at 13421, 13421, right here across portions of Oneida, New York. I think I said that right, directly just due east of Syracuse. So first of all, before I forget, let's go ahead and move on back here to my main screen. I do typically like to, or accidentally do that. Anyway, so you are located right here, my friend, Oneida. I think that's how you pronounce it. So as of today, as of your overall storm prediction center risk here, you are not at any risk for thunderstorms and obviously severe thunderstorms either. You're not expected to see any of those here for today. Although we are seeing, according to radar view, a little bit of showers around your area, but I say that it's pretty much a dying chance. I mean, a lot of these are just moving out of the region and very, very much dying out. So honestly, I'd say tonight probably mostly clear for the most part. Honestly, as those showers are dissipating for the most part. In regard to tomorrow's outlook, there's also nothing there. No thunderstorms expected. Day 3 looking relatively fine in regard to things. We did just see a lot of rain. Here's kind of the end amount of the rain that just drove its way through. We'll look at the amount that actually fell here in a minute. But anyways, in regard to this, yeah, this is the end of the system, tracking its way out to sea here. No longer a problem. I mean, once this thing moves out, as we have been seeing, I mean, most of the country is actually relatively, most of the country is actually relatively dry for the most part until the next system does approach here, which we'll look at the models and we'll see when our next system could potentially drive its way across the United States. I mean, we'll also be talking about the tropics too as well. Don't worry, we'll get to more of that here in a minute. But anyway, so in regard to things, I mean, that's kind of what we are talking about here for you. Specifically, pretty much dry for the most part. Let me look. Okay, obviously, yeah, even the radar view, I'm just looking at it really quickly, just a brief over it, which I can go ahead and show you guys, I guess. So let's go ahead and move this over. So here's the radar view. I mean, according to the NAM model, there's an area of low pressure located directly just off the mid-Atlantic's coast. Going to be tracking its way off here to the northeast. And as you can see, I mean, maybe a few showers can be possible, but honestly, I'd say you have a better chance of not seeing any shower activity than actually seeing that shower activity. So, but anyway, so that's kind of what we are actively watching here in regard to this. I mean, looking relatively fine for the most part. Now, in regard to those temperatures down into what we are expecting here. Now, for you specifically, honestly, getting a little bit chilly tonight here into the mid to upper 50s. According to this model being a possibility. Tomorrow getting up into as high as the mid to upper 60s here for tomorrow for you. Tomorrow night, once again, diving down, possibly down into the upper 50s, lower 60s. And then just kind of on and off. I mean, really not too bad temperatures. Honestly, that's actually really nice temperatures expected. And honestly, like I said, since that area of low pressure is moving out, high pressure is building in, leading to some more clear skies and stuff like that. That's definitely going to be really good for you. So you're looking to have some pretty nice days up ahead. Absolutely. So we are looking relatively fine and when it comes to that. So there you go, my friend. That goes to you. Let's see. Angel says, night, awesome. Be safe. Thank you, blessings. You're very, very welcome. That's what I'm here for. Let's go see here. Thank you guys for thanks in proxy. It's definitely greatly appreciated. But yeah, so that's kind of, once again, thank you so much, Proxy. Greatly, greatly appreciated, my friend. Let's see. Next one we have here is from Pilot. Let's go and take a look here at 37188. I got you covered, my friend. Obviously glad to have you here, Pilot. Thank you so much for being here. So 37188. So 37188. This is right here across portions of White House, Tennessee, directly just due north of Nashville. Once again, before I forget, let's go ahead and change this over here. Anyways, so what is going on here for today? You know, pretty much just north of Nashville for the most part. I mean, we are seeing a lot of sporadic, you know, thunderstorm and shower action. All of that has pretty much depleted for the most part. It does look like on that last frame there, it does kind of look like another little, you know, shower or storm starting to fire off you towards Hendersonville. This is directly just southeast of you, but I'd say that your chances of getting these storms is dramatically dropping every single hour that passes, so I'm not really expecting anything in regard to tonight. It should be clear for the most part. Tomorrow, we're not expecting any thunderstorm action, and once again, not even severe thunderstorm action occurring. Obviously, for Thursday as well, you know, that thunderstorm threat actually shifts its way to the south. We are watching a cold front drive its way through the region here across the nation, and this actually is bringing that stability back into the country, which is basically going to allow for conditions to become not really favorable for thunderstorm activity. So just for tonight, I mean, like I said, it's a small chance. I mean, I'll give it probably a 10% chance of having some showers near your area. Most of the environment has become unfavorable for that action to develop here. So we are looking relatively fine in regard to that. Now, when it comes to your future radar, like I said, for the most part, we are watching you know, this little, this front drive its way through the region. We're going to go ahead and switch back to the models here. Like I said, you're kind of right around in here. Time is in the bottom left-hand corner if you guys do want to follow along, by the way. But like I was saying, obviously, you know, after this, it's going to kind of just move its way out of the region for the most part. I mean, we're going to have some high pressure build in across portions of the central country, eventually tracking its way to the east, bringing those nice conditions for the most part. But anyways, in regard to that, that's kind of what we are looking at. I mean, nothing really too crazy that is ongoing. Not really expecting any thunderstorm activity to occur. Now, when it does actually come to the temperatures, when it comes to our temperatures here, obviously for tonight, we're diving down into the, I'd say the lower 70s, upper 60s here for tonight. Tomorrow heating up into the upper 70s, lower 80s. Tomorrow night dropping down into the mid to upper 60s being possible. Obviously for September 8th here, being on Thursday. This will be here for the afternoon hours here, kind of around the mid to upper 70s, according to, as of now, what those temperatures could look like for you. So there you go there, Pilot. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Let's go and see here. Megan says it's so hot. It definitely really is. It seriously is. Let's see here. Storm Geek says it's pronounced Oneida. Okay. Oneida. Okay. Thank you so much for correcting me on that here. Let's see. ERXCA. I don't know how you pronounce that. It says, hi, what's up? Hope you're doing all right. Glad to have you here. Let's go ahead and see here. Yeah, we just looked at yours, Pilot. Let's see here. Proxy says, Andrew, how did I do in the storm that hit area and had to end the live stream early? I hope you made it through okay. Yep, we were fine. Absolutely okay. You know, we were absolutely fine for the most part, other than just a lot of lightning. I mean, we've seen pretty much the worst of it on the live stream. Like I said, the power was cutting off, and obviously that was nothing good. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We had a pretty nasty storm drive its way through the region here where I'm at, and obviously it did actually, you know, it actually did almost knock out the power. I mean, we literally saw on stream, I don't know if you guys saw that, my light flickered off twice, and obviously lots of loud thunder. And you saw, guys, I think I showed you guys the rain that was occurring. I mean, it was absolutely pretty crazy there. Anyways, let's go ahead and see here. We got ourselves another comment coming through here. I'm in Western New York, 144.27, small rural town. Been dark and rainy for the last 3 days. Hopefully any change for tomorrow. So, welcome, April. Hope you're doing all right, my friend. So let's go ahead and move on over here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look for 144.27, 144.27. Now, in regard to things, as we were watching, actually we just looked at an area relatively close to you, directly east of Syracuse, where we looked at. It's pretty much going to be the same for you. I mean, over the next 3 days, we're not expecting any thunderstorm activity for the most part. We were expecting those temperatures at nighttime to get maybe even into the 50s, you know, upper 50s, lower 60s, and obviously maybe during the daytime up into the 70s being possible. Relatively nice conditions. I mean, like I said, we are watching this whole entire system, which we are going to see right here. This guy, there's an area of low pressure located directly just off the coast here. I'm going to switch to a different color here. There is a new area area of low pressure directly off of the coast of the United States, and this thing is tracking its way up here to the northeast and basically bringing all of this rain with it. Now, once this moves through, we're going to have some high pressure building against the backside of the, towards the Ohio Valley, Midwest, portion of the Tennessee Valley, and this is going to allow for those good, nice sunny conditions to once again return. So, honestly, from what it looks like, honestly, I'd say that you're going to see some pretty nice weather here over the next 3 days, just as a brief summary of when we looked at. But yeah, so pretty much the same thing for you, my friend. Anyways, let's go ahead and see here. Zane says, let's see here. Zane says, good evening. I am watching from Austin, Texas. Well, glad to have you here, Zane. And if you want a forecast, let me know. I got you covered. Pilot says, thank you very much. You're very, very welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm going to be in Destin, Florida, September 24th. Well, obviously, that's kind of odd because I'm actually going to Florida here in October. I'll actually be in Florida in October 1st, or October 2nd, actually. We're leaving on the 1st, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing for the channel whenever it does come next month. I'm going to bring my computer with me, though, so I should be able to not really change anything on the channel. I should be able to give you guys more coverage here, but anyways. But yeah, let's go see. Sun for Ohio, says Proxy, yay. Yeah, like I said, obviously we are seeing that high pressure drive its way into the region here. But anyway, so that's what's currently going on here. If you guys have any more questions, let us know. We're going to be here for you guys. You know that we're going to keep you guys covered here. Once again, yeah, big shout out goes to Proxy today for, obviously all the time for helping out the channel. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Zane says, let's see, how is the weather in San Antonio, Texas area? So, all right, let's go and move over here towards the San Antonio area. That's San Angelo. Here's San Antonio. So for today, we are seeing ourselves a little bit of shower and storm action that was ongoing here most of the part now. It's moved its way out of the region. Like I said, for the most part, it's moved its way out of the region here now. For tomorrow, possibility of a few thunderstorms, although nothing severe is expected here. Obviously for Thursday, thunderstorm threat just to your east. Not far to the east, so it honestly would not be impossible if we did get a few stray thunderstorms that did occur. But for the most part, there's a possibility we could see some thunderstorms for Thursday across portions here of the south. Now, I will mention, we actually have a severe weather threat here for Thursday, across portions of northeastern Minnesota into northern Wisconsin and the upper state of Michigan here on the northwestern side. That is something new here. For tomorrow, we have another severe weather threat across portions of the northwest. Areas this does include is Montana, Idaho, as well as eastern Oregon. That's going to be something to watch out for. And obviously today we don't have any threats. So tomorrow, let me actually see what's going on here tomorrow. I want to see if there's any chance for tornadoes. There's not a chance here. That's definitely good. Hail, no chance. So it does appear that this is just a wind threat. This is just for some gusty winds being possible for the most part. So it does appear that we are looking relatively fine for tomorrow. But like I said, obviously maybe just a possibility of some localized wind damage being a possibility. But anyways. But that's what's going on. Mickey says, woohoo, sunlight for Ohio. Thanks for the updates. You're very, very welcome, my friends. Now, let's go ahead and move on over here, my friends, over to it. So we're going to go ahead and take a break here from the personal forecast. And now we're going to talk about the tropics. Now, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions on the tropics, so feel free to ask questions as we got you guys answers here. So the first thing I really want to take a look at here is obviously the National Hurricane Center. We need to talk about what current systems we have out here in... I was going to say, am I using my iPad? I am using my iPad to read the comments here, which I can actually show you right here. I have my stream up. Oops. There you go. So there's my stream. I actually have the comments right here, so I can actually read it. Anyways, so yeah, I am using my iPad. So here's the thing. We're going to go ahead and switch over here to my main screen here, back to the National Hurricane Center view. So as you notice, we actually do have some new updates for you guys. There is now 2 other potential systems we are watching out here in the Atlantic. As you can actually see here. Now, from what it looks like, we'll just talk about that more here in a second. Anyway, so we now have 2 hurricanes out in the Atlantic. We have Hurricane Earl that just formed here, just an hour or so before we started the live stream here for today. Now, Danielle, we're going to start off with you. Danielle's kind of in a weird situation right now. Is expected to be downgraded into a hurricane here kind of as early as Thursday morning, from what it looks like. National Hurricane Center has the system tracking its way to pretty much the northeast here, really slowing down, stalling out, kind of doing a loop-de-loop here, and catching up more speed to the southeast here. Obviously, kind of towards Sunday, being still a subtropical storm here. It's not really a tropical system at this point. It's pretty much just a tropical storm forced area of low pressure at this point. But anyways. So this thing is expected to really just kind of loop-de-loop here. More updates to follow. But for the most part, I'm not really worried about Danielle and any impacts on it. Right now, it's currently sustained winds of 75 miles per hour, which is kind of right there at that hurricane force. I mean, any lower, this thing will be downgraded to a tropical storm. Honestly, my personal opinion is that this is going to be downgraded before 6 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. I think it could honestly be downgraded tomorrow, if not tonight in the next update. Honestly, it would not be surprising. I mean, this system has been rapidly weakening here, well out of the warm waters, which tropical systems do need, and which that's just no longer there for the most part. Anyways, so that's what's going on with Danielle. I mean, obviously, yeah, here's the wind, tropical storm force wind probability here. That is kind of what we are talking about. But anyways, yeah, nothing too crazy with Danielle for the most part. Now, here's where we move into some interesting territory. Now, we really need to watch out for Earl. Now, Earl is currently stronger now than Danielle, clocking in at 80 mile per hour sustained winds. As you can see above me, that is Earl. Definitely really kicking off here in the latest scans here. I mean, this thing has been doing very well here over the last day or so in regard to the environment. I mean, it's been absolutely kicking off here. But anyways, here's the track for Earl. According to the National Hurricane Center, obviously is a hurricane, and this thing's actually forecasted to become a major hurricane as it sideswipes the side here of Bermuda. Now, Bermuda does have tropical storm watches. They have indeed just issued tropical storm watches today, which is now in effect here. You can see right there, Bermuda, that little yellow area right there. That's the tropical storm watch. If you look down here, you guys can't even see that. If you look down here where it says watches, the yellow is tropical storm. And you can see Bermuda is under that yellow. So yeah, obviously, like I said, this system is expected to sideswipe Bermuda on the eastern, or move mostly to the east here. So Bermuda is going to likely have some pretty decent impacts out of the system, but it honestly could be a lot worse. It definitely could be a lot worse here. So, once again, this thing is expected to become a major hurricane. That's what the M stands for. If you guys look there, the M stands for major hurricane, being a Category 3 or obviously Category 3 or higher. And in this case, it's just expected to be a Category 3 as of right now. Anyway, so regardless, this system is tracking its way to the north here. It's going to be mostly moving east. The center is supposed to move east of Bermuda for the most part. Once again, tropical storm force conditions can kind of look like they're going to be a possibility across portions of Bermuda. We're going to dive more into that here in a little bit. But anyways, but when it does come to Bermuda here, I mean, obviously, this is going to be something we definitely need to watch. Now, latest outlook here from the National Hurricane Center in regard to those tropical storm force winds, they actually have now a 70 to 80% chance. You can actually see right there, Bermuda is on the line between that orange and that red. So the red is showing a 70 to 80% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds. I honestly tell you, this is pretty much a given at this point. This system is expected to bring tropical storm force conditions towards the Bermuda area. Obviously, this up here, that's with Danielle. But like I said, I'm not really worried about Danielle right now. Like I said, the main concern, we are actually watching two systems that we're going to really keep our eyes on. First of all, we have ourselves, right now, K as well as Earl is right now. Like I said, this is Earl we're watching. And like I said, I mean, it's definitely a big chance that we could see ourselves some tropical storm force winds. Now, here is the hurricane force wind probability. Now, Bermuda is actually not out of that, believe it or not. Although Bermuda is not expected to achieve hurricane force winds, but we have about a 10 to 20% chance of having that happen. So obviously that's kind of a low chance for the most part as of now, low chance of having hurricane force winds, although tropical storm force winds is kind of a expected thing at this point. But anyway, so that's what's going on there. Just a little update here on Earl. Now we have ourselves another system that we have really got to watch out for. This is the one I'm most concerned about here. This is Hurricane K right here in the Eastern Pacific, currently clocking in at 976 millibars with sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. That's a pretty pretty decent Category 1 hurricane we are watching right now. This thing is expected to become a Category 2 as it kind of sideswipes the Baja California Peninsula. So here we go. Here's the latest information on it. We have all sorts of watches and warnings being issued here. The blues, you can see right here, that stands for tropical storm warnings. We have tropical storm warnings across the pretty much lower half of the peninsula here. So that is kind of what we are talking about. So obviously in those areas in the blue, tropical storm force conditions is expected. It's basically imminent or going to occur here. Now the first swaths of this system across the areas here is probably going to happen for tomorrow night. We are going to start to see maybe a little bit of action starting to take place here. Anyways, but like I was saying, we are going to continue to watch this. Now the pink here, that is standing for hurricane watches. Now that does include some of the tropical storm warning zone. It's just showing that this system could also bring the possibility of maybe hurricane conditions across areas in pink. The yellow is just tropical storm watches extended more towards the interior portion of the interior portion here of the Baja Peninsula. But anyway, so once again, this system is tracking northwest, expected to kind of get drawn in closer like a magnet towards the peninsula here, eventually then moving its way out to sea for the most part. And yes, this is likely going to cause a lot of impacts here. So if you guys are anywhere inside the Baja Peninsula of Mexico, western Mexico, it's advised that you prepare for the system now. Honestly, this is your warning right now to prepare for it. I'm not saying to spread panic or anything, but I'm saying that there is likely going to have a lot of issues. There's going to be lots of impacts or possible impacts out of the system here. I mean, you saw firsthand this system is absolutely enormous. It's a very, very large system, and honestly, flooding can even be a possibility as well. Not just hurricane or tropical storm force conditions, but I mean, flooding. We could see several inches of rain being a possibility out of this system as well, as the system is relatively slow moving for the most part, and it's going to be hugging its way across portions of the Baja Peninsula. So that's kind of what we are watching here in regard to this here as of right now. So we definitely just got to keep an eye on this system here over the next little bit. So in regard to what we just looked at with Earl, these are the tropical storm force probabilities. I mean, all across the coast here, I mean, we're talking at least a 50 to 60% chance of having it. Even across the interior bay, there's a possibility of having those tropical storm force winds. Now, obviously, in regard to swelling, especially on the interior portion of the Baja California, on the eastern side of the peninsula, coastal flooding is going to be a major concern. Because as mentioned before, I mean, these systems do rotate counterclockwise, as we did see, and obviously that counterclockwise motion is pushing all of that water against the coastline. Because if you account for counterclockwise rotation, it's going to be pushing at the interior portion here of the peninsula. So obviously coastal flooding, I mean, even storm surge going to be a possibility, a big possibility actually, which we are going to see here. Now, in regard to hurricane force wind probabilities, I mean, honestly, they're pretty low at this time, but they're going to wait till the system actually track its way towards the peninsula. As of right now, there's about at max a 10 to 20% chance of that happening, but I honestly think that this is going to rapidly increase by tomorrow's outlook. So we are going to continue to definitely watch this here very, very closely. Anyways, but that's kind of what we are talking about here. It's 50 knots plus, definitely looking pretty strong here for pretty much a mid to upper class tropical storm being a likely concern for portions here. Now, obviously, hurricane conditions is going to be a possibility across some of these areas here along the peninsula. So interest in these areas here have got to watch this here very, very closely. So here's the current wind history with this. I mean, this thing is already producing hurricane force winds shown by the red. I mean, just look how wide these tropical storm forced winds are already spreading out here. I mean, this is at least 200 or so miles in each direction. I mean, we're seeing loads and loads worth of tropical storm force winds extending out in all directions. Definitely is looking pretty daggone crazy. And like I said, obviously we are expecting tropical storm to hurricane force conditions here across the peninsula. And we are going to be live for you guys on this system. Honestly, in regard to timing with this guy, back to the main cone, I mean, honestly, the impacts could start here for tomorrow night at the latest for the most part. I mean, here, obviously, by maybe even tomorrow morning, afternoonish, this thing could start having some impacts here on the southern Baja California Peninsula. But we're going to probably go live here for the portions of Thursday. We're probably talking about maybe going live, maybe even, so Thursday is obviously 2 days from now. So we might go live a few days off of this event, as it's going to be a multi-day event here. Obviously, until kind of Friday is whenever that's effects are going to continue, pretty much continue. But anyway, so in regard to that, we're probably going to start going live here early morning on Thursday. We might pull an all-nighter. We'll see what happens. I mean, we definitely got to give coverage on this because this is people's lives we're talking about. So obviously, we're going to be here for you guys in order to give you guys coverage. Still kind of working out of time here. I'm just estimating late Thursday to be our first stream, and obviously maybe even late Friday will be our secondary stream. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm thinking as of right now. Now, when it does come to Earl, like I was talking about, we are planning to do coverage on Bermuda as well. Let's go ahead and move over here to the Bermuda storm here for the most part. Anyways, let's go ahead and move back here to Bermuda for 1 second. Back to now Hurricane Earl, which it just has recently done that. So yeah, obviously 2 in the morning on Friday. So we're going to be covering 2 tropical systems at once on our second stream here for Friday night. So obviously Friday night we are going to be covering ourselves. Obviously or really Friday morning, I should say. We are going to be covering ourselves these tropical systems, so they're definitely both need to be monitored. Anyways, but that's what's going on right there, my friends, in regard to the overall tropical outlook. If you have any questions on the tropics, guys, let me know. We're going to be here for you guys. I got you all covered. If you guys are specifically worried about someplace and you want me to look at it, let us know. We got you guys covered. That's the reason we are here. Once again, just thank you all for being here. But once again, thank you all so much for being here. And if you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button, my friends. It'll definitely be greatly appreciated. So, the current view across the nation, we are seeing a lot of thunderstorm action across portions of the southeast, like I was saying. We just seen this area of low pressure drive its way out here to the, to the northeast. High pressure will build in across portions of the central country, tracking its way out to the east, delivering some pretty decent conditions for the most part. Cold front driving through right now, pretty much firing off these thunderstorms. You can really see that boundary between where the thunderstorms aren't firing off and where they are. Honestly, that's definitely pretty good thing there. But anyway, so in regard to things, that's all we're talking about here. Now, guys, in regard to the tropics, I think it's a given we need to talk about the models. Obviously, there's a little bit of information we need to give to you guys here. So let's go ahead and take a look here. We're not going to look at Danielle since I'm not really concerned about Danielle. First system we're going to take a look here at is Hurricane Earl for the most part. So anyway, so here we go. Here's the latest information in regard to the spaghetti models for Hurricane Earl. So we are expecting a lot of, there's a lot of agreement here up until it goes past Bermuda, which is obviously our main concern out of the system here. So this system is tracking its way up here to the north, eventually going to shift to the northeast here, basically past kind of on Thursday from what it looks like. Now this system is expected, the worst of this system is expected to track east of Bermuda. Is expected to be east of Bermuda. Although, that does not mean that Bermuda is in the clear, because some of those swaths of some of those rain bands can bring up the possibility of some of those tropical storm force winds, and big possibility. So that's currently what we are expecting here. The system is expected just to go out to sea and get caught in the jet stream further down in time. So honestly, like I said, the main concern is for Bermuda out of this system in particular. This is mostly a concern for areas of Bermuda. That little speck you see right there, that is the lovely island of Bermuda. So yeah, once again, the system is expected to track its way mostly just to the east of Bermuda. Now here's the intensity forecast based off of these spaghetti models for the most part. Obviously all the models do hint intensification over the next few days. With kind of the peak of intensification happening right there, kind of towards right around when it's going to be making, or I shouldn't say landfall, but close approach towards Bermuda, kind of around that 72-hour mark. Basically that 3-day mark here from the latest update. Obviously, a lot of the models, pretty much all the models do support Category 3. Now, there's a few of them that do support Category 4, although you have a better probability of seeing those Category 3 force conditions. And then once it moves up to the northeast, it's going to rapidly weaken here, eventually moving its way out into the jet stream and getting caught up. So, obviously, this thing is going to be at its strongest, unfortunately, by the time it's right there by Bermuda. That's according to what's forecasted here in the model. So, that is the latest information regarding that. Here's some ensembles, basically showing us, where this system could also lead up to. Most of the ensembles are just east of Bermuda. So, that is the biggest scenario. We are expecting the system just to track east. Just due east here of Bermuda. But obviously, like I said, though, impacts of this is still expected to occur. Anyway, so now we're moving on over to Hurricane K at this point. Here's the one we were talking about across the way. Now, there's a lot more disagreement in regard to these models as in regard to Earl we were just talking about. The models do have this thing continuing on a northwesterly trajectory. Some of them getting closer to the peninsula while others don't. And honestly, some of them kind of show it wrapping down, kind of hooking there towards the end. Once you kind of get into this realm, it's kind of pretty much unknown for the most part. So that's going to need monitored. It's a big old question mark as of right now. But anyways, regardless, the system is expected to be sideswiping the side here of the peninsula, bringing tropical storm to hurricane force winds being a possibility, or being a likelihood, I should say, at this point. But anyway, so that's kind of what we are watching. Now, in regard to the intensity, it's pretty much expected to possibly hold its strength, if not strengthen a little bit more. The National Hurricane Center does have this thing getting up to Category 2 strength as of right now. So honestly, a little bit more of intensification up to upper level Category 1, lower level Category 2 is a possibility before it really starts to dive down south. Literally in intensification here. So that's kind of what we are talking about in regard to Hurricane K. And like I said, Hurricane K is currently clocking in here at 85 miles per hour. So it's definitely a pretty strong Category 1. And I do have some pretty strong support that this thing will definitely become a Category 2 here down the line. Now, here's something I want to go ahead and show you guys. We have ourselves some recon missions that flew into Earl. This is the latest update in regard to Earl from the Hurricane Hunters. Obviously, this has intensified since the last time we were live with you guys here. Obviously, look at this. We're seeing our pressure drop from 988 from earlier to now to 985. And this thing is now officially a hurricane. This is marking our second hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane season. And both Earl and Danielle are both still hurricanes. Although Danielle is probably going to be downgraded here very, very soon. All the conditions are really starting to kind of drop for this point. But anyway, so in regard to things, I mean, yeah, we're starting to see our central circulation very, very well defined at this point, looking very, very good. I mean, obviously just above me, the convection, all that stormage is well separated, kind of well spaced out inside of the system here. Definitely is looking like a very, very healthy tropical cyclone right now. But anyway, so that's what's going on here at the moment in regard to things. So whenever it does come to some drop zones that they actually did indicate here, I mean, this is very, very well vertically stacked, basically meaning there's no dry air inside of the system for one, and also it's not really blowing away by any wind shear at the moment. It was battling a little bit of upper level winds here yesterday, but that's no longer a case here. It's looking relatively fine. The system's doing nothing but strengthening from here on out, my friends. I mean, it's honestly looking like this thing's going to definitely be a system we need to watch here. They did do a mission into K as well, but they don't really have any. We really don't have any interesting things to really look at here as of right now, but that's kind of what's going on there, my friends. That is kind of the latest updates. We just went over everything like that. Actually, now that I think about it, let's go ahead and go over some of these hurricane models. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and move over here to HWRF in regard to Earl. This is that system here in the Atlantic Ocean here we're talking about. So here is in regard to Earl. We're gonna go ahead and switch on back here. Once again, this is our first model. This is the HWRF model. In regard to things. So this is something that we have definitely got to watch out here very, very closely. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and switch this down to basically towards the surface in regard to our wind field. So we track in time. Obviously, time is in the bottom left-hand corner if you guys want to look at this. Obviously, if you want to pay attention to this. So we track our way down here in time. Now, obviously, there you go. Right there. That is Bermuda. Now, this in particular model kind of has Bermuda getting hit around 30 to 40. Actually, this is around 40 mile per hour. Or, sorry, 40 knot sustained winds. That's basically equivalent to around 45 miles per hour to 40. I'd say around 48 actually. So around 48 miles per hour. But like I said, obviously for the most part, that is kind of what we are seeing. So obviously that is indeed tropical storm force winds. So once again, HWRF model is hinting tropical storm force winds will be a likelihood in regard to Bermuda. Now, with that being said, like I said, a lot of the heavy winds, I mean, like I said, these systems rotate counterclockwise. A lot of those winds, as this storm is mostly just on its worst point on the eastern side of Bermuda, a lot of those winds are going to be slamming against the northern edge of the island. Now, this is going to cause possibly some swelling across the northern edge. Obviously, some rip currents all around Bermuda is going to be possible, which is definitely not good at all. So, when it comes to that, Bermuda, you're going to have some tropical storm force conditions. That's what's expected. Obviously, the possibility of some storm, some, I wouldn't say really heavy storm surge, but obviously maybe some coastal flooding could be possible, and maybe even just a little bit of rip current activity as well. So that's kind of what we are talking about here. So that was the HWRF model. Now, next one we have is the HMON model in regard to Earl. Now, this model in particular is actually looking like it's going to be a little bit more stronger of an approach here. You can obviously tell here. Now, the winds are actually getting up around 50 knots in some areas. Definitely looking like it's going to be a little bit more stronger towards the Bermuda area. It's around 45 knots or so, which that's equivalent to around 50 to 55 miles per hour. So this in particular model is showing it being a lot more stronger of a tropical storm here, or I should say it's still a hurricane, but tropical storm conditions, a lot more stronger tropical storm conditions across portions here of, portions of Bermuda. And then this thing will track its way up to the northeast before we're kind of weakening out there. So that was HMON. Now, in regard to HAFS, this is another model, the last model, actually, second to last model we're going to look at here in regard to Earl. In regard to this guy, we're going to drop down a run because this one's not done yet. This one is also pretty much agreeing with what the last one said, actually a little bit stronger. This model is actually showing us that we might actually see around 55 knots or so. That's around 60 to 65 miles per hour possibilities here across Bermuda. 60 to 65 mile per hour. That's actually a pretty strong tropical storm conditions across portions of the way. Obviously, those worst conditions are on the eastern side of these systems. All the time, the worst conditions of hurricanes are on the eastern side. Tropical cyclones, the worst of it is on the eastern side. So obviously the system's passing east. It would be a lot worse if it was passing west. But luckily it's passing to the east, so obviously Bermuda has some good news in regard to that. But according to this model, this kind of shows it at its worst, maybe around 55 to 60 knots, maybe around 60 to 65 miles per hour being a possibility here. Now, one more model we're going to look at here is the GFS in regard to Earl here we're talking to look at. Now, this one as well also kind of shows Bermuda around that 50 knot range. And like I was saying, for the most part, we were actually watching, literally maybe around 50 knots, which equivalent, once again, around 55 miles per hour. So it is going to look pretty iffy here. So we are seeing some pretty strong tropical storm force winds definitely being a possibility across Bermuda. And like I said, they actually do have a tropical storm watch. The National Hurricane Center has put a watch out for areas here of Bermuda, so that's definitely something we got to continue to keep an eye on here for. But anyway, so that's what's going on there, guys. That's the current models in regard to Earl. So now we need to look at K. So obviously K has a lot more possible impacts versus Earl. I mean, obviously they both have their own impacts in their own ways, and it looks like, hold on, am I right here? Does it look like we now have hurricane warnings in effect for the peninsula? Could be wrong there. All right, we're going to take a look at a minute. I think those are still watches. I think I'm just mistaken here. We'll look at that here more in a minute. But anyway, so first of all, back onto the HWRF model here in regard to that. So first up, we're taking a look here at K. Once again, this is the system here in the Eastern Pacific. We track our way down here in time. Definitely does get very, very close here to the peninsula. I mean, definitely swiping up with 50-plus knot conditions going on here. Definitely is looking like a pretty strong system. Like I said, obviously expected to be kind of around a Category 1, Category 2 zone. Not really forecast to be any stronger than Category 2 as of now, looking relatively on the lower spectrum of the hurricane, but still, it's going to have some of its impacts. Definitely is still going to have some impacts here along the coast. So I am expecting a lot of storm surging possibilities to happen here along the western coast of the Baja, California region, maybe even on the eastern side as well with some swelling. I mean, swelling of the water is expected. It's pretty much a given with this system across the western side, or both the western and the eastern side of the peninsula. Now, this particular model, yeah, definitely has those tropical storm to hurricane force wind gust probabilities, definitely being their strongest. Mostly kind of around here. Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell. Kind of towards, yeah, it's really kind of hard to tell exactly where this is mostly at. But right here on that little island that's right off of this kind of peninsula, don't know exactly where this is at, but that's probably going to have the most largest impacts of the system according to the HWRF model, and eventually tracking northwest and just weakening dramatically after that. So that's kind of what we are talking about when it comes to this. Now, next up, we have ourselves the HMON model in regard to K. Obviously, in regard to this system, once again, obviously going to have some of its, maybe a little bit less of those strong, tropical storm force conditions across portions of the west here, but don't let that fool you, because up ahead, yeah, those are definitely going to become a lot more stronger, with obviously a lot more swelling being a possibility in regard to maybe some rip currents, some flooding. Obviously, it's going to be dumping a lot of rainfall, too. I mean, it's a pretty large system. I mean, have you seen how large this in particular system is? For example, I'm going to go ahead and show you just how enormous this system actually is. If we go ahead and switch on back here to my main screen really quickly. So here's this right here. This is Earl, that's currently here in the Atlantic. This is now a hurricane. Now, here is K. I mean, look how large this is. It's about the size, a little bit larger, actually. If you measure this at its latest scan here in regard to infrared scan, we're actually going to go ahead and measure this here. This is definitely a very, very large storm here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and measure it from its southern peak here. Obviously, there's still a little bit more going out there, but obviously, we're kind of talking well over 1,000 miles with this in particular system. So this thing is definitely very, very strong here, or very, very large, I should say. So there is going to be the possibility of a lot of rainfall. There's a lot of moisture being wrapped up into the system. Moisture content is not really a concern out of this. It's going to have its fuel. It's going to have all it needs to sustain itself, as it is going to make a swipe here across portions of the peninsula. But anyway, so back onto the models here. Like I was saying, obviously it's going to have some tropical storm to possible hurricane force conditions here along the coastlines. This is definitely going to need to be monitored. And like I said, we are going to be live whenever this does make its way towards the landfall. Anyways, next up we have ourselves our second to last model here, the HAFS, really quickly. This right here is for, once again, K. So this is what's going on here. We're going to go ahead and switch down to the latest run. Once again, that was not done. But this one has it kind of moving its way further to the west here for the most part, but still having a lot of impacts. You can obviously tell right there, definitely of the possibility of hurricane force to tropical storm force conditions is definitely going to be a likely concern with this in particular storm here. So definitely is something we have really got to watch out for. This is going to have some pretty decent impacts here. So once again, showing very, very strong near the coast. And of course, our last model we're going to look at here is obviously the GFS one back here towards K. But anyway, so we track our way down here in time once again. Now this model in particular, the GFS has it really tracking more inland. It kind of has it bringing its way more up here to the north. I mean, really slamming the coastline here. According to the GFS, is going to have some very, very strong hurricane impacts here. So definitely is going to be very, very nasty according to GFS. But like I said, there's still a little bit of disagreement in the models. We currently do have hurricane watches that is in effect across portions of western, portions of the central portion of the Baja Peninsula, and obviously tropical storm warnings are in place for like the second, third, I should say, the bottom third of this, of the peninsula there. There is tropical storm warnings, which I can go ahead and show you guys here right now. Let's go ahead and move on back here to the National Hurricane Center here really quickly. I want to go ahead and show you guys really quickly the current warnings and watches we have in effect here. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and move on back here to the tropical tip. Actually, no, wrong view. I should probably switch over here to the main screen. There we go. So obviously the blue is showing tropical storm warnings that is in effect here across the way. Basically saying, okay, yeah, we do have ourselves tropical storm conditions is expected to occur. Now, in regard to the pink, that's hurricane watches. That's kind of where we are seeing the possibility of hurricane force conditions possibly being a concern. And the yellow is showing tropical storm watches extending north. Possibly down the line, we could see some more tropical storm warnings being issued. We'll just need to continue watching this. Anyways, my friends, so that's going to go ahead and do it here for the live stream for today. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you give a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. You guys absolutely rock. Like I said, make sure to check out our Discord and everything like that here down in the description. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Once again, big shout out goes to Proxy, as always, for supporting the stream. Thank you so much, man. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Seriously, once again, Proxy definitely is a legend of the channel. And once again, thank you so much for helping us out here, guys. Thank you so much. But like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. All the links are down below. Follow our Twitter as well, at NWW1162. If you guys are new to the channel, like I said, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, guys. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you guys did enjoy this live stream, make sure that you leave a like here. But once again, thank you all so much for being here for today. It was greatly appreciated. And like I said, I hope you guys are staying safe here. Let's see. Jose says, when is Texas going to get hit by a hurricane? It's a boring season. There's nothing in the works, nothing in the models as of now of anything coming near Texas. So it's looking like it's going to probably be what you call boring for the next few little bit in regard to things. But it looks like, yeah, nothing right now is heading towards Texas. No, not really worried about Texas right now in regard to anything. But once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us here for tonight. We're going to go ahead and switch on over here back to the main screen. So we're going to go ahead and switch on to the ending screen here. Once again, thank you so much for being here, my friends. Greatly appreciated. Let's see, Proxy with another 50. Are you serious? Dude, Proxy, thank you so much, dude. Thank you. Huge thanks once again goes to Proxy. You did not have to do that, my friend. Seriously, mega shout out goes to Proxy. Absolutely the legend of our channel. Thank you so much, my man. Definitely does mean a lot to me. Saying another great stream. You rock. No, you rock, Proxy. Thank you so much. And like I said, if it wasn't for you, we would definitely have a harder time of doing this, obviously with, obviously payments of, radar systems and stuff like that. Well, thank you so much, man. Once again, mega shout out goes to Proxy. Thank you so much. So, the stream is going to go ahead and head off here in about 3 minutes, so let's just go ahead and set that right now. Once again, guys, big thanks goes to Proxy once again. So thank you so much. And thank all of you guys for coming out here for today. Greatly appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys here for tomorrow. It definitely is tomorrow. It's going to have another update. I'm probably going to do a video as well as maybe even a, obviously tomorrow we're going to probably do an update as well as maybe even a live stream tomorrow. Now, like I said, Thursday we are planning to do live coverage on these tropical cyclones here. Thursday and Friday is going to be reserved for tropical system live coverages. So, if you guys would like to stick around then, make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. Turn on post notifications. That way you guys will not miss out any live streams in the future or any videos. Well, thank you so much for being here. Taniel says hello there. What's up, Taniel? Thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Obviously, it's a little bit late here for you joining. But once again, thank you so much for joining here, Taniel, and I hope you have a wonderful night. It goes to all of you guys. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you so much. Greatly appreciated, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Anyways, guys, take care, and I'll catch you guys sometime here tomorrow. Peace out, y'all.
To occur at the end of the week. Maximum sustained winds are near 75 miles an hour, 120 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Gradual weakening is forecast during the next several days. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 35 miles 55 kilometers from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 175 miles 280 kilometer. The estimated minimum central pressure is 986 millibars 29.12 inches. Hazards affecting land none. Next complete advisory at 3 a.m. GMT. Marine reports along the coast and offshore buoys. At the Seaman site at Cedar Key. Winds were northwest at 5 knots. Air temperature 86 degrees. At the Seaman site at Venice. Winds were north at 4 knots. Sea temperature 90 degrees. Air temperature 86 degrees. At 100 miles west of Bayport. Winds were northwest at 4 knots. Sea temperature 89 degrees. Air temperature 86 degrees. Wave heights 1 foot. 210 miles west of Captiva the air temperature was 83 degrees. Sea surface temperature was 86 degrees. The barometer was 1015.5 millibars, and rising. Winds were northeast at 10 knots, gusting to 12. The wave period was 6 seconds, and the wave heights 2 feet. Your coastal waters forecast for the following marine location: Tampa Bay waters. Issued at 8:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Rest of tonight, northwest winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming northeast. Bay and inland waters light chop. Scattered showers and thunderstorms early this evening, then